My name is Beighle. Thank you for coming. I'm going to be talking just briefly about grouping strategies, and we're going to get you guys up and moving. One of the things that we really emphasize is the idea of being able to get kids in groups and being able to do it efficiently and actively, as opposed to taking 15 minutes to get two teams and kids moving around. And I'll talk about some of these strategies and stuff that I've tried to use that failed epically. And so I want to get you guys up as fast as I can. So leave your stuff where it is, stand up, and come on over here and walk anywhere you want inside this area. And just keep walking. And freeze. Freeze means put your hands on your knees. There we go. Good. All right, stand tall. Now, I always tell kids to do that, put their hands on their knees, because if you don't give them something to do with their hands, what are they going to do? They're going to find something, right? If you teach high school and they don't want to put their hands on their knees, fine. If they'll listen to you and stop, that's fine. But as soon as they stop listening, they go back to kindergarten. And I tell them that. If you can't freeze and listen to me, you're going to have to go back to that. So assuming you do stuff on your own, we'll use freeze as well. The first thing we're going to talk about is getting partners. When I say go, you're going to get toe-to-toe with a partner. As I've said in the past, one toe, two gets awkward. So one toe. If you don't have a partner, you come find me in the middle. Toe-to-toe, quickly, go. You guys are ready, you guys are ready, you guys are ready, you guys are ready. Perfect. All right. Introduce yourself to your partner if you don't know them. And walk anywhere you want by yourself. Freeze. Excellent. Thanks for turning and looking right at me. That's exactly what I like. No offense, but I like that. That's perfect. All right, stand tall. Toe-to-toe, quickly. If you don't have a partner, come find me. You can find any partner. Right here? Perfect. All right, here's a couple of rules on finding partners. If you make eye contact with someone, congratulations, that's your partner. Nothing makes a kid feel worse. I look right at Ashton and then I look away, right? How's Ashton feel? I want to create a culture every kid wants to be there, right? I don't want her left out. And then I don't want kids taking more than 3 steps. If you take more than 3 steps, you're looking for your best friend, and that's not efficient, because you're going to have to work with people you don't like the rest of your life. Don't look around right now if you work with people around here, right? You're going to have to, right? And just get used to it. That's where it's going to be in PE. You can also do something, I don't know if I have it on here, I call the friendship circle. You can also do power groups. If you do groups of 3, you can't have all girls, you can't have all boys. And you say power groups, and they know that. Does this take time to practice? Yes. This will take time to get them to do this, but it's a skill that is pay me now or pay me later. You can do it now, they can get partners quickly. The other thing we can do with partners quickly is you can make 2 teams. I need one person in each group to raise your hand. If you have your hand raised, will you please come stand right here? Perfect. If you were too lazy to raise your hand, would you please come? I'm just kidding. All right, right here. All right. Now, what do I have? 2 teams, right? And I didn't have to line them all up. I've tried this. The young man right there with the gray hair can attest to this. I have tried this. I've tried lining my kids up and do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And then you say all the ones over here. And then where does everybody go? Over here. Or the first kid says, what number? You're the first kid. Let's use some problem solving here, right? Right? Or he decides, you know what, my best friend's a 2, I know he is, so I'm going to switch places. You're still a 1, and then it screws you up. And then you're feisty, you're competitive, you're a PE teacher, and you're like, I'm going to get these kids to do it. And I tried it and tried it, it doesn't work. Right? So 1 over here, 1 over here. I have my 2 teams. Quick, efficient, and you're looking at it, you're like, wow, well, what if I have all the gifted kids over here and the not so gifted? Well, when you start playing a game, if that matters, then you just quietly switch teams. You don't say, hey, you're terrible, would you please come over here and switch, right? You just switch kids that are equally gifted too, to really confuse them. Quick. Doesn't have to take time, and this is what toe-to-toe helps you do a lot of those things. Walking by yourself, go.
Your ball, man, don't forget.
And freeze. Excellent, hands on your knees before I even said zzz. Good job. All right, I usually tell kids to pivot and look at me, all right? Their beautiful faces are great. Stand tall, toe-to-toe, quickly. If you don't have a partner, remember, you come find me. There, you come right here. This is why you want them to come here, because I don't want them, the least cooperative kid that doesn't follow my rules, controlling my class. And I don't want a group of 3. I might. I don't anchor myself to any kid. I don't want to, if they don't have a partner, I put them in a group of 3, and all the activities I do can be in a group of 3. I don't want to anchor myself. They hustle to the middle and they're by themselves. I usually let them pick what group they want to work with. If they lollygag, nuh-uh, I pick. And I know who you would pick, and I'm not picking that person, right? Because I get to know my classes. I've talked about relationships in the past. I get to know who they are, all right? All right, I need, we've done this activity, some of you have done this, but one person raise your hand. If you have your hand raised, see, now you're fighting to raise your hand fast, aren't you? Yeah, you don't want to be called lazy. Sorry, that was bad. All right, one person raise your hand. If you have your hand raised, you're the marker. You're trying to stay as close as you can to your partner. Partner, you're trying to lose them. You're not trying to tag. Now, as I said before, this is not the Olympics of marking, so we have very kind faces here, so just play with me here, all right? Go. Stop. See if you can touch your partner. If you can, you get a point. If you can't, that's all right. Reverse rolls, reverse, crisscross. Just go. Some of you might get my joke, but some of you don't. Stop. All right. This is just something you can do with partners, all right? Walking by yourself. Walking.
It was a good pick. I tried to help. It was a good pick.
And freeze. Excellent. Need you in groups of 3. Go. Okay, what do you do if you don't have a group of 3? Hand up and come to the middle. I'll find it. So you guys are a group of 3, you go with that group, and you go with that group. Now, it'll take a while to get your kids to do it that fast. But what I don't want is I don't want 2 kids to stand over here and say, we need one. Because then you're going to have some kid way over there saying, we need 2. It's like you're not a we, you're by yourself, so you need 2. Well, go to the middle, right? Now, I will tell you, I have worked with the gifted and talented 8th graders in PE. Groups of 3, 6 of them come to the middle. Couldn't figure it out to save their life, right? It's a social thing. They're looking at each other like, I don't know what to do. So you'd have to tell them, look, we have 6 divided by 3. Great. Divided by 2, and we have 3. Now, I want to have 3 equal groups. I don't know how many people we have here. This is the only way I can make 3 equal groups, right? I can count, but if you're from Texas or somewhere else where you have 75 kids in your class, you don't want to take that time to count. One person in each group, raise your hand. If you have your hand raised, will you please come stand down here and come up with a team name? Next person, raise your hand. If you have your hand raised, will you come down here and come up with a team name? Last group, you're right in here in the middle, come up with a team name. All right, relax. I really don't care what your team name is. I was just giving you something to do, okay? When I put kids like this, I want them to have something to do. You can have them do jumping jacks, you can have them put on pennies, whatever. This is as equal as I can get it. I have one team that's bigger than the other. Why? Because my number's not divisible by 3, right? But what else are you going to do? I have used apps in my life and tried this, and then guess what happens? One kid's absent, or something happens. I tried, when I was teaching a university class, I tried to rate them on their skill level, and then I made teams, and they were balanced. I rated them, I counted the numbers, and each team was 13 based on their skill level, and then guess what happens when I show up to class? One kid's absent, and that screwed it all up, right? So this is all I do, every time. Toe-to-toe, groups of 3, now I have 3 equal groups. If I get groups of 4, how many equal groups can I get? 4 equal groups, right? Same process. Right? Walking, go. Freeze. Excellent. Hands on knees. Stand tall. Toe-to-toe quickly. See how quickly this happens? I've had you for 10 minutes, and now I can get you toe-to-toe. I need one person in each group. Raise your hand. If you have your hand raised, right here. If you didn't raise your hand, you're right here. All right. We're going to play a game. This game is as old as the hills. When I first started teaching, I thought this has got to be the dumbest game on earth, and every group I've ever worked with loves it. It's called Crows and Cranes. Okay, has anybody ever played Crows and Cranes? All right. You're the crows. Raise your hand. Okay. You're the cranes. Raise your hand. If I say, you got to take a step a little bit closer. Again, not the Olympics. Okay? If I say cranes, the cranes have to try and you're just going to take your steps right here. Typically, I have them run back to a line. If I say cranes, you take 2 steps quickly before the other team can tag you. If I say crows, who's taking 2 steps quickly? You guys. If I say anything other than crows or cranes and your feet move, you lose a point. You can have kids, if they get tagged, they can go to the other team. I think it's written up in our book that have lines, but you're not always somewhere where you have lines. So I usually have them, if they can take 2 steps back before the person tags them, then they come forward. All right? So here we go. This is just a practice. If you have no clue what's going on, watch me and I'll point the direction we're supposed to be going. All right? I'll pull my hand way up here. All right? Crows. Hustle back. All right, ready? Cranes. Hustle back. Okay, no more hints. Crazy. Oh, look at the good balance. I like that. All right, you get the idea. So I can do this with nouns and verbs, right? Nouns, verbs. I can do it with everyday foods, sometimes foods. I can do it with odds and evens. Be careful on the words you pick. Because to you, jump is what? A verb. If you are a skateboarder, jump is a noun. It's that wooden thing you go off of, right? So just be careful of the words you pick on this kind of thing. But this is just another activity you can do, all based on being able to get kids in groups efficiently. Walking, go. And freeze. Thank you. Toe to toe, quickly. If you don't have a partner, come find me. I'll help you. Perfect. All right. One person each group, raise your hand. If you have your hand raised, you're going to get, I did this yesterday, a similar activity. You're going to get your a scarf. The other partner, your job is to find a spot on a line. Pretend there's a line here. Partners are going to be right across from each other. You can get a scarf or one of the birdies. Go. Get a good one. Get a good one. Get a yellow one.
You're my partner. What are you doing?
Good job, but keep him in line. All right, go ahead and put that right in the middle of you. Okay. I call this Man U because I saw Manchester United do it. But you're going to have your hand on your knee. Actually, let's do it in push-up position. How about that, just for kicks and giggles? All right. So here's what we're going to do. You can have knees down if you need to. This is pretty soft, actually. All right. I'm going to say shoulder. I'm just going to keep saying shoulder, and you're going to do shoulder push-ups, just marching push-ups, whatever you want to call them. When I say grab it, you have to grab it and maintain your position you're currently in. If you fall, it doesn't count. All right, shoulder, 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 so grab it, and put it back. This time you have to grab it with your other hand. I don't use left and right with kids because it confuses them. It confuses some of you as well. So you're going to grab it with your other hand. Shoulder, let's go knee. Shoulder, knee, grab it. Look at those, look at that upset competitive, I love it. All right, everybody up walking. If you have a piece of equipment, just sit it on the outside. Keep on walking. And relax. You don't have to freeze. One thing I forgot to mention, when I use hand raise with you guys, because I know you don't want to sit down, but with kindergarten, first and second grade, I usually have one partner sit down, and you can use the tallest partner, shortest partner if you want, but then you have kids that stand back to back and say, he says he's taller, look, I'm tall. No, you're not taller, right? So I just say somebody pick, and if they can't decide rock, paper, scissors, that solves the world's problems. If everybody used that, we would have a lot fewer problems in the world. Rock, paper, scissors solves everything, right? So they do rock, paper, scissors. The reason I have them sit is because if you don't have them sit, when you say, if you're standing, come over, if you have your hand raised, come over here, they think they're going to be left out, right? And so they all come over here. And Monday morning, that doesn't upset you, but by Friday afternoon, it's kaboom, you explode, and you wonder why they can't listen, and it's like they're in kindergarten, they breathe something different than everyone else, right? So have them sit. And then once they sit, then you can have if you're sitting, and then say, everybody, if you're standing, stand here. If you're sitting, stay right where you are. And then you can watch and make sure none of their big-headed kids get up, right? Because all kindergartners have big heads. And then you say, if you were sitting, would you please come stand on that side, right? Just little things that help tremendously with grouping of kids. I want to make sure I didn't. When you get in groups, like I gave you a group, you're supposed to be finding a team name. If I get you into groups of 3, I want you to stay in that group of 3. And I'll show you why here in a second. Let's just do it. Get in groups of 3. If you don't have a group, come to the middle. Okay. You can be right there, and you can be right here. All right. So here's what happens. I want a group of 3. I can say I want you in a line. I can say I want you in a single file line, because that means your group's locked. Okay? So if I come over here in Beighle, and I decide I want to be with these 2. And I'm the bigger kid, and the teacher's not paying attention, and I just, see you later, Beighle. We got a group of 3 here. Now, what's Beighle have to do? Find another group, right? And how long does that last? All class, because eventually some kid's going to get back to our group. So it's locked. You can have them sit if you want. I don't have kids sit a lot because that doesn't give me any incentive to shut up, right? I don't want to talk much. So when you get them in groups of 3, they're locked. Then they come to the middle. I have 2 groups of 4. That's just the way it's going to be. I can't do anything about the numbers, right? Again, all of this is about making sure they're efficient. Walking. What am I doing here? There we go. Hang tight. I'm trying to see if I covered everything here.
Get her out of here. 2 weeks. 2 weeks in the pack. Give her a red slip.
Sorry. Give each other high fives. See how many high fives you can give in the next 10 seconds. High fives only count if both feet are off the ground. You got to at least be able to get a paper underneath it. If that's all you got, that's all right if you can get a piece of paper. And relax. All right, go ahead and have a seat. Or you can just stand here for a second. I'm not going to talk too long. All right, my key points here. These are skills. It's just like throwing. It's just like your other rules that you have. You have to expect kids to practice them and get better. So you have to plan for this, you have to practice for this, and make sure it's productive. I don't do things just cause. I do things to make my class more efficient. I do things to get them more repetition and refinement. I do them to get them more activity. All of this stuff takes practice. I know it's in the middle of the year, towards the end of the year. I would highly recommend you go back and start some of this stuff and practice it and try it with them. Freezing, you don't know how many workshops I've done that teachers say that freezing thing works. And it does. It only works if you expect them to freeze. And that's a whole different conversation to have about how you handle that with behavior problems and things like that.